very good morning to you. It's always a pleasure discussing sports updates on Sports Recap on News TV. Good morning once again. I am Ainan Lubem and you're watching Sports Recap on News TV.
Richard Badung is my name, and of course, exciting moments we had in the weekend. So bad for Nigeria, but not bad, you know, in the English Premier League as we saw exciting results. But still, I will have to say good morning from top of the table.
Of course, beginning from the local scene as usual, where Nigeria's very own and world record holder Toby Amusan dominated the women's 100 meters hurdles at the ISTAF 2022 Berlin meeting on Sunday, winning in a time of 12.45 seconds. The meet is part of the World Athletics Continental Tour Silver Level Series. Amusan entered Sunday's race on the back of a second-place performance at the 2022 Lausanne Diamond League meeting last month, but she said she was confident of bouncing back at the Olympic Stadium this weekend. The Nigerian standout got off to a strong start to build a sizable lead and then pad a way to secure the victory. Now, this is Amusan's, I think, third victory in a row. What, as she's popularly known at the moment, Toby Express. How will you react to her winnings?
I think a fantastic one for me. Amusan has actually been a great player, a great athlete. Won the world title in Oregon in July, you know, with the fastest time in any conditions at 12.06 seconds, as after running 12.12 seconds, you know, to set the current world record in the semi-final. From everything, we actually see this lady coming out every now and then top. When you talk about world class, I think, or you say greats in the world of athletics, her name will surely be written in that one because she has proven to the world, not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth. I think so many times, several times without numbers, that she is actually among one of the greatest ever. I think for this legendary performance, of course, the world of athletics or the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, or anything you want to call it, will never forget Amusan.
Of course, Germans athletes clocked 10.24 seconds. And of course, away from that particular war, Nigerian sprinter Nzubechi Grace Nwokocha, who won gold in the 4x100 meters relay at this year's Commonwealth Games, has been suspended for the use of banned substances. The Athletics Integrity Unit gave the information on Saturday. Nwokocha, who is 21 years, ran the anchor leg in Birmingham last month as Nigeria beat England and Jamaica to take gold. Otari and Ligandrol are both anabolic agents prohibited by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Do you think this suspension is going to go in a way of affecting Nwokocha like we saw what happened to Blessing Okagbari?
I think it's a very disappointing one. I will blame our local athletics federation unit here for, yes, the AFN yes, for not actually doing what is necessary, and the AIU in Nigeria actually for not actually putting in place what is necessary. They would have checked these athletes before leaving this country and getting to know that now some of these substances they use might not be something, it's not as if they're really on drugs, but probably, you know, maybe they tell them this is pain relief, this is this one, this is that one. That's why we need medical experts to who actually understand this game, to always be at the forefront of issues like this. We cannot be losing out Blessing Okagbari in a situation like this, and now we are also losing out Nzubechi, you know, Nwokocha in like the same year or just a year, less than a year after, or a year after. You know, it's so sad. It's just so sad. I just wish we can, you know, boost our medical team, you know, for these athletes to understand, for these athletes to get the right treatment, because it can't continue this way. For how long are we going to? Why is it Nigeria? Why not other nations? You know, continue asking yourself these questions, then you get to understand that at some point we are not actually there yet. We're only getting there. We can see the breakthrough we are having from the likes of Toby Amusan and other athletes. So what do you expect from a nation definitely that is expected to be in the world map? We expect greatness, but we're not seeing that mostly, you know, with all these bans and suspensions coming on.
All right, away from athletics now to football, where Nigeria, South Africa are set to miss the 2022 CHAN. Yes, Nigeria and South Africa will be notable absentees from the African Nations Championship after qualifying for the 2022 finals in Algeria, concluded on Sunday. Ghana pipped arch rivals Nigeria on penalties after a 2-2 aggregate draw, and while South Africa slumped to a 4-1 loss at home to Angola, who triumphed 6-1 overall. Leading nations who will be at the 7th edition of the tournament reserved for home-based stars include Senegal, title holders Morocco, Cameroon and the Ivory Coast. Trailing 2-0 after the first leg, Nigeria staged a late rally in Abuja to win the return match 2-0, 3 goals from Zukufilu, Rabiu, and Chijoke Akudetu from an added time penalty. And of course, we saw the Super Eagles, the B team, bowing out of the CHAN competitions.
Yeah, it's so sad that we have to see the men national team, the Super Eagles, not to be in the CHAN tournament next year. This is a team that have actually gone up to the finals, lost to Morocco by 4 goals to 0. We expected them, to be there next year and bring out great impact, but it will not be possible. Now, for the game that happened, I actually saw up to the 66 minutes. You and I saw the game, and there was no goal. The first goal came in around 70-something minutes, and that was when Zukifulu actually brought in the goal. Before Akunetu brought the team back to level times. I think poor officiating was the reason why Nigeria technical crew were very bad, very sad in that game. The game wouldn't have gotten up to the penalty stage. But you see, in a game that is tensioned, in a tension game as this, you don't expect the Nigerian side. I mean, you don't expect the Nigerian technical crew side to be happy because they actually felt they would have gotten that game at home. Now, 2-0 coming up in the first half, going into extra time, we saw everything that would have happened there, but the referee actually chose, to just ignore, and that particular ignorance gave Ghana the edge. Now, getting to the penalty, we know it's a game of luck. There's no expert in penalties; it's always a game of luck. Nobody actually will see 100% all through your career. If you play up to 10, 15 penalties a season, you know what it means. So I feel it's just something that has happened, and we just have to take it. They fought well, but the fight wasn't good enough to secure them the spots.
Well, away from Nigeria itself, look at what South Africa played. A team that hosted the 2010 World Cup also were thrashed by Angola, total on aggregate 6-1. That's a very, very shocking result. How will you react to the Angolan side defeating South Africa? I'm
surprised because South Africa possesses one of the best leagues in Africa. So,
honestly,
yeah, one of the best leagues in Africa. So, seeing South Africa lose by 6 goals to 1 to Angola, we have to go back and check what the Angola has in their league. That's maybe we are not seeing, because this is coming together of home-based players. I think the coach has to be checked, if not sacked, because for a team like South Africa, that was a poor result. For me, I expected that team, because this is the same team. Most of them who play that game play for the main South African national team, and most of them still deliver. They play Nations Cup and other things. So why is it now that they are losing out? I think we have to go and check Angola, like the clubs in Angola, and see the kind of players and the kind of things they actually possess.
All right, away from that particular war now to the Super Falcons, who suffered a 4-0 defeat to world champions the USA in a friendly match played at the Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City on Saturday. The game was the first for the Falcons since they finished 4th at the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco in July. The loss was their heaviest defeat under Radu Waldrum since he was appointed in 2020, and it also extended their winless run against USA to 7 games. How will you react to the Falcons losing again to the world power?
This is just a clear stance that Nigerian football is not developing, especially when it comes to the women football. Randy Waldrum has not helped in development of this team. No matter who plays in the Super Falcons, we see victory. It's not now that the likes of whoever doesn't play matters. You know, the Super Falcons don't wait for players to actually win matches. But unfortunately, it has become it has actually become a thing that we look out to. If Ajibade doesn't play, if Oshola doesn't play, that's not the Super Falcons I used to know. The Super Falcons I used to know is a Super Falcons that is used to winning games, not the Super Falcons that have to depend on a team. I mean, on the particular player. It is a team on its own. So I just feel disappointed at some points to actually see that this team will not be able. You know, the U.S. national team did very well. They are actually the best team in the world, no doubt, when it comes to women football. But you will not want to say the Super Falcons are not actually one of the best also. But why have we not crossed the quarterfinals of the World Cup? You ask yourself that question. I think we still have a whole lot to do. So many assignments. We should not bank on past glories. Let's come back and work as usual.
Well, good thing that the NFF elections is just by the way, and of course, an opportunity.
Just counting days.
Yes, for Nigeria to get a better president who will steer the affairs of Nigerian football for the better. Of course, away from that particular war now to the international stage, where we saw a lot of action, starting off with tennis, where Serena Williams retired after a wonderful career. Congratulations to her. And of course, I see you smiling. Are you happy for Serena Williams?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy she ended her career very well, though not really perfect, but she ended well. she would have actually, you know, gotten the best of every points that she did. But, you know, she still struggled to see if she could actually be the best. And she's doing this now. Everyone who is actually A should do the same thing. It's just so you won't get embarrassed one day.
Of course, I'm moving to European football. Manchester United defeated Arsenal 3-1, and of course Chelsea escaped West Ham by scoring 2-1, and of course Tottenham and Liverpool also had their own chances in the EPL. And of course, how will you react quickly before we go?
Thanks to VAR for the week. I think VAR actually played so much role during the weekend. Chelsea was saved with the VAR. West Ham would have actually become a draw against Chelsea, and Thomas Tuchel has to go and check his side. Manchester United had a perfect win, 3-1 though. Poor officiating actually from Paul Tierney. I wasn't actually impressed from Paul Tierney, but lovely goals from Marco Rashford and also Anthony. Bukayo Saka also scored a lovely one also. And I think for the weekend, it was great, fantastic, and also lovely for me, if you ask me.
Of course, Brentford defeated Leeds by 2-0. Newcastle played out a goalless draw against Crystal Palace. That's the much we can take on Sports Recap on Hills TV on today's edition. Trust you had a wonderful time. I am Aidnan Lubem.
Richard Badung is my name.
Thank you for watching.